All right, everybody. It's the Jere Metcalf podcast. Today we have Tony Giordano from Los Angeles, California. Welcome, Tony.
Welcome. Thank you very much for having me again.
Thank you for being on again. It's great to have you. You were one of our very first interviews and just incredibly insightful. Everybody, for me, Tony shifted my perspective on this huge tool and resource we have with social media on one more really amazing way to reach out to our clients. It has so many tools that I'm still not using all of them because there are so many and they're so powerful. So I wanted to bring you back on for a couple of reasons, to elaborate a little and also to talk about a couple of books that you have coming out, which are Social Agent Edition 2 and The Death of the Cold Call. But before we get into all of that, give us just another synopsis. Tell everybody about, real quickly, give us your story about how you got into this business, your success, and where you are now.
Well, that's usually about an hour of my presentation.
I know, exactly. So let's do like the super quick version.
I'll condense it.
Right.
Yeah, I'll condense it down. I got in the business in '98 as a mortgage broker. I made my first million at the age of 26 in 2004. And 4 years later, in the economic banking crisis and crash, I lost everything. 19 mortgage offices. I had 15 properties across the United States. Everything was foreclosed, short sold, laid off 100 people, lost all my cars, boats, everything. And then in 2008 and 2009, trying to reinvent myself, I finally just lost my passion for mortgage financing in '09. Trying to dig out of the hole. So October, amongst a bunch of things that had led up to this decision that I had to make, or August of '09, I decided to switch to the real estate agent side of the business instead of financing the house, the sales side. And I joined Coldwell Banker in Malibu. And within just about 6 months, accidentally stumbling upon social media and using it in a way that no one else was, and still to this day very few people are, I just exploded my business with getting deals that I should have never been getting as a rookie agent, and getting these high-end listings as well. And that led to then in 2011 absolutely exploding in business. Started writing the book The Social Agent, and then when the book became a bestseller, just started speaking all over the country and helping agents and salespeople in general build their brand and business using online presence as the main pillar. And it's just been nonstop since. So when people say, how did you rebuild everything you lost so quickly and you were only down for like 2 years? And there are people that were in that business that are still down to this day. And I just try to tell them in one word: online. You know, everything was driven off of online. And when you look at every massive corporation or anything that's become $1 billion in the last decade, it has to do with an app or online. And so I just did the same thing, and the rest is history, actually.
Yeah, most people are inventing these apps and making $1 billion, like Uber and Airbnb, but you're actually using them and leveraging them. So give us a few key ideas about, you used it to launch your business, but you're also using it to keep momentum. How did you use that to create that momentum? Because we've all got access to it, but you've really leveraged it in a way that nobody else is. Can you give us I know we talk about the book, but elaborate on it a little bit.
Yeah, I would say that, God, a lot has changed since then. And, something's coming to me right now. So that's what I do, is it's like, it just starts to turn. And now this is going to be the first podcast that I've ever even said this, because it just came to me right now, is the way you had asked the question about the app. So first and foremost, I've always said this: your website is the foundation, just like the foundation of a home. And you cannot cut corners on a foundation. So you have to lay that perfect foundation before you can frame out the home. And then once the house is framed out, now you can do all the fun stuff, the finished work and the wallpaper and the paint and the tile and the stone. Well, the same thing online. Your website is the foundation that you can't cut corners on, that all the weight and all of the traffic is drawn back to. So once you've poured that foundation, you can frame out your social networks. Now you get to frame out your Facebook and your Instagram and build your online presence. And then once it's built, now you get to do the finished work and the photos and what do you want to show and your story and all this stuff. And so, but what I've never said that you just asked is how I would use it as apps, and how the apps use me is a company like Nike. Well, they do one thing, and Nike's only purpose is to show one thing, is to sell Nike apparel. So their app does just that, and that's it. But we as salespeople have multiple apps. So my foundation is my website, but then my social app of who just Tony is, well, that's going to be my Facebook friend page, my Instagram friend page, and that's my social app. But I also need a professional app. So my resume has to be my LinkedIn app. My Instagram business page and Facebook business page has to be my advertising app and business branding app. My Twitter has to be my news and discovering information. So I have all these different apps that play a part in my business or life. And that's how I would say I use them, is I use them for their individual niches. And YouTube would be my channel app, right? Pinterest would be my Pinterest app and drawing traffic back and forth from my website. So you have to use the apps for what their purpose is, and they all have a different purpose.
So I'll never forget. Well, there's a few things running through my mind because I've seen you speak a lot, and you're beyond impressive. I was in a series of listening to speakers at an event, and I literally almost left. And everybody's like, "Oh, it's Tony Giordano. You have to hear it." And I was like, "We'll save you a seat." I was like, "Oh God, I'm going to have to go because I'm going to know if I'm not there." So I go and I sit in my what's that? I sit in my saved seat, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this guy's awesome." Like you really made an impact on my business. So one of the things I'll say to our listeners is, in social media, everybody says things like, "I don't have time for it. I can't do it. It doesn't apply to me." And you were standing on that stage and you did this thing like, "Guys, are you kidding me?" At the time you talked about 5 platforms. You've added Pinterest to that. But you were talking about the platforms, and you were like, "Hey, I'm in line at Starbucks. I'm talking to people about real estate. Oh, and by the way, here's my phone." And you were just giving like quick, easy examples. Even the fact that I'm at Starbucks in the great neighborhood, have a listing down the road on or whatever, done on each social app. So it's just realizing, and we talked a little bit before the interview, is that when you're on social media, it's not, quote, technology. You're not too old for it or too good for it or too whatever for it. It's like saying, "I don't have a cell phone," or "I'm not going to go to that party," except it's better than a party because business is everywhere there to be found. And you've got so many great examples of how to do that.
Sorry, go on.
No, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, so chapter 2 of my book, the first book, The Social Agent, is literally titled Social Speedia instead of social media. Speedia, because of the speed at which you can just absolutely crush your competition. What is the number one rule of lead generation? Go where the people are. And human beings have not changed. We are the same as we were 30 years ago. It's just, instead of being at home waiting for somebody to knock on our front door, or going out to our mailbox to see what junk mail we have or what bills we have, or answering some hardline phone as soon as the phone rings in the house and everybody like goes and gathers around the kitchen to see who called.
Right.
All of that has changed, but we haven't changed. We're just online now. And so if people are online, how are you trying to build relationships with them? And so when somebody says social media, like, "I don't have time to add another thing to my business," how do you find time to do this when you have to do all these other things? I'm like, wait a second. I have to do all these other things, but I'm doing them online now. Social media isn't something you add to your plate. Social media replaces half the things we used to have to do.
For a lot less cost.
It's all of my advertising. It's my marketing. It's where I build relationships. It's where I build my database. It's where I engage people. It's where I answer questions. Like, what else should I be doing in the morning? Name one thing that I should be doing that is more important than social
more powerful
media.
Yeah.
Well, somebody might say, well, lead generation. Yeah, that's where I'm doing that. And I can do on Facebook in 30 minutes what it would take anybody else to do, cold calling or door knocking, 2 weeks to do. And that is incredible speed and time consumption savings. And that's what people just don't understand. A lot of people go into this world of social media and they get distracted and they're looking at who's dating who and if that's a real gerbil or not and what somebody cooked for dinner last night. But I go in purposefully to say, who are 10 people I don't know that I'm going to engage, add as friends, and start to build a relationships with that ultimately I will ask for business from in 3 months and send them a private message that just says, hey, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell real estate? After Facebook has taken our 6 degrees of separation and gone.
Exactly.
And that doesn't exist in any form of lead gen except online.
Exactly. So it's interesting because you talk about there's the one everybody's familiar with. Well, not everybody, but there's target marketing. Especially my favorite is Facebook because you can literally pick people by their income, where they live, what they're interested in, what they do, whatever you want. If they're moving, are they not moving? What is their career? Where do they work? Whatever it is, you can go target those people, put whatever you want in front of them. Or there's that avenue of casting that net wide or far reaching and specific demographics. But on the flip side of that, meeting people and developing a relationship with them in a way that you never, I think everybody in this business is going out, we're all taught to just go ask for the business, and you can't ask without delivering value. It's just the law of reciprocity. I can't come and ask you for something unless there's a synergy between us and I feel like you're bringing me value. That's just the law of human nature. So in social media, we are provided that opportunity to develop a relationship which delivers reciprocity and value, to then take it to the next level where we've established trust, to take it to the next level where they actually are often for me, they're asking me to do the business before I have even asked them, because we have the opportunity to position ourselves that way.
Yeah, and you're nailing it right now. Like, there's a time and a place to ask somebody for business that you don't know at all.
Exactly.
And usually the only time you're allowed to do it is if you've had a conversation, you're conversing with somebody, you're talking about real estate, they say that they're not thinking of selling anytime soon or buying or whatever. They asked you, how's the market? You're having a great conversation, and at the end of that conversation, it is now okay to say, well, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell real estate? And that's still cold calling. However, if I go to a barbecue or go to my friend's wedding and I don't know 90% of the people and I start walking up to people saying, hey, you know anybody looking to buy or sell real estate?
Not going to go well.
Not going to go well.
Right.
Same exact thing online is you're going to have to build a relationship. But what would have taken me days, if not weeks, to do with people I met from a wedding before,
which you have to find, right?
I can literally do it after just an hour of knowing them online. Now, I'm not going to. I'm going to wait.
Right.
However, it just shows you the power, and people don't understand that these little green dots by somebody's name when you're online, that they're online, that's not a robot. That's a human being on the
that you can talk to right now.
Out of that green dot to, and they just don't get it. They're not grasping this world.
Well, lucky for you and me, because it's making me really successful. So,
good.
so something that this makes me think of, and I've heard you talk about a little bit, is you talk about your good twin on social. You a few things I'd love to hear you elaborate on about, or talk to us about. On, you've got your personal Facebook page and your business page, and there's 2 different ways to utilize those. But also, I loved when it really stuck with me. I forgot where I heard you talk about this, but you talk about, your social media presence or your personal page. It can be the opposite. It can be your evil twin or your good twin, because you talk about, on social media, go ahead and elaborate on that.
So obviously it could be either one, good or evil. But when I'm talking about the good twin, evil twin, I'm saying that my online identity, Tony Online, the person that thousands of people know who I'll never meet in my life, they're his friends on Facebook. He's my digital twin. He lead generates for me 365 days a year, 24/7. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't eat. He's everybody's friend. He's immortal. Like he can go on forever.
Right.
And if I don't change my profile picture, then he doesn't age either.
Love
just
it.
Like those old school,
Yeah.
Just like those old school business
Or go
cards,
back in
right?
time. You could be 20 years ago right now. Right.
Exactly. So that, I always say, our online identity is our good twin per se, and the real one, me, the real life Tony Giordano, is quote unquote the evil twin. Meaning, my good twin, when he goes to Las Vegas, when people see that Tony online is in Vegas,
right,
it just says Tony Giordano is at the Wynn Resort in Las Vegas, meaning he's in Las Vegas and he's checked into a hotel. I could be considered the evil twin. See, I'm the one checking into the nightclub below the Wynn Resort later that night.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with it, but maybe what we do in there is debatable, right? With our closest friends. But that's what I'm saying is when I'm with my closest friends and family, I might express myself in a way that my mother would not appreciate. When I'm with my bros, snowboarding, and I say a word that she'd be like, Tony, how dare you? Or when I'm with my father, will I, without question, express my extreme and very, very angry one-sided opinion about a politician? And you can guess who that might be, and you can guess who it might not be. I will do that. But see, my good twin, Tony, he doesn't get to.
He shouldn't do that. Some of the twins online do that, but it's not a good idea.
No, it's not a good idea. So that's what I'm saying is I can get my digital twin to be whoever I want, and he doesn't swear. He doesn't take sides religiously or politically. He's everybody's friend. He's neutral. I can't go over that word enough with people, is you have to neutralize your online identity if you want business from it. Now, I always say on stage, am I here today to tell you you can't express yourself in the way you want? Absolutely not. Do whatever you want. I couldn't care less what you do online. I only tell people if you want business from it, you have to go after the numbers. Sales is a numbers game. Real estate is a contact sport. And so you would never try to take sides at a networking event where you're a sponsor trying to build relationships with a group of 400 people. Well, then you can't take sides online and lose half your audience, because you will lose half your audience if you're not neutral. And that's why I say it in my book. Real estate agents or salespeople in general who want business from the internet do not get the luxury of using social media like our friends and family get to. We just don't, if we want business from it.
Well, and I think, so there's the don't do's, but I want to talk about the do-do, the don't do's and the do-do's. But oh God, like maybe we'll edit it. I always talk about editing. We don't edit. We rarely edit, because I like to keep this authentic, but you get it. So something that makes me think about, that I'd love to hear you talk about too, is in business, Simon Sinek has this great talk, and he's not the only one that's figured this out, about you've got the IBMs and the whatevers of the world, and they, let me pause. You can go out there and you can talk about how good you are at something you do. You can be the best, and that does not mean you're going to win the business. What wins business, when people make decisions, you cannot, the part of your brain that makes the decision, this is Simon Sinek speaking, Jerry speaking through him, but the part of your brain that makes a decision is not logical. It is not the part of your brain that uses language. It is an emotional part of your brain. So whatever your decision is, decisions are always, there's some study that you can't make decisions without an emotion. So I bring that up to say that relates back to why people will buy phones and computers and everything else from Apple, but never did or will work for IBM or anybody else, because there's a connection that Apple and their marketing has made for us that's personal and emotional, that I feel like I'm a member of the club and everything I have is Apple. I don't remember the moment I joined that club, but as real estate agents or as business people, it's the same thing. We have our personal page that creates that relationship that loyalty, because people buy and stay with a product based on loyalty and trust that comes through that personal page. In the meantime, we have that business page that also says, oh, by the way, we're super competent, which Apple also is, and pulls together this momentum amount of business that has a snowball effect. So tell us, elaborate on that. I know I'm interviewing you, but I had to throw that in because of everything you're saying. But there's that component, and then the steps. Are there any precise steps you can give to people listening to this? Because there's a lot of people that are intuitive, and a lot of people are like, okay, I get it, but what's step 1, 2, and 3 to make that happen?
Okay, amazing. So first of all, Simon Sinek, the most amazing TED Talk and speaker that TED Talks have ever had. This guy is amazing. If you've never watched him, whoever's listening on this call, when it goes live. So what you were saying is, so we have 3 chambers of our brain, and Simon Sinek says that the outer chamber of our brain is the what. It's how we react to things. So when somebody says something that we don't like and we fire back at them and then we regret what we said, it's because it's our reactive. It's what we do. The middle part of our brain, or the next layer in, is the how we do it. And then the middle core of our brain that a lot of people think is our heart. It's when we have that bad feeling about something, that good feeling. We're like, oh, my heart just doesn't, I don't think I should do it. It's actually not our heart. It's our inner core of our brain, and that's where we get our why and our deep emotion from. And so what Simon Sinek says is that Apple, Southwest Airlines, JetBlue, Martin Luther King Jr., they come from this inner core of their brain, their why, in their marketing. And so they start with their why, like why we do what we do, and here's how we do it. And oh, by the way, we just happen to sell cell phones. What we do. Verizon and all these other companies, they start on the outer, which is what 99% of marketers do. What we do. We sell cell phones. They're best in design. Here's how we do it. And then they never get to their why. And that's why Apple has 1,000 people waiting outside when they release a new phone.
In the middle of a recession, right.
Even though Droid might be a better phone, because they don't come from their inner place of passion. Well, as a real estate agent, and then that's where Simon Sinek concludes, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So if I go online or in my marketing 20 years ago in Homes and Land magazine, and I say what I do, hey everybody, I'm a real estate agent. And then I go to the next category, how? I'm a real estate agent that knows the market better than anyone. We're top 1% locally. We give away this if you close with us, and our team is incredible and ethical. So it was what I did, and it's how we're better. Well, that's great. Now imagine that being right by an advertisement in the same magazine that shows a different lady entirely who's a real estate agent, and her ad is this gorgeous sunset or something that just is just a beautiful picture, and it says, every morning when I wake up knowing that I get to change a life and possibly help somebody achieve the American dream, it's what fuels me to wake up every morning.
And I know you said that's in the middle of your brain, but I felt that in my heart. Just saying. But either way, the point's the same. It's awesome.
So it's because she's saying why she wakes up every morning. And so I always tell people, nothing's changed. It's how you touch humans. So if AT&T 25 years ago is showing the long distance AT&T commercial, and people are crying over the commercial because it shows this little kid talking to his dad while he's at war, and it's the AT&T commercial, it's because they know if they touch people's hearts that people will be hooked to use AT&T. So when we're online, we see heartfelt things and we want to engage heartfelt themes, which means heartfelt is actually number one. So when you said, what's a formula, or if there's something that you can do, first, the minimum 2 things that you have to do in order to have the level 1 of online presence, meaning you have online presence more than most people, is you have to have an audience that grows inside every day. And then you have to give that audience. When I say give people value, we're not talking about your market updates and your branding and like, look at me and here's what I do. What? We're saying you give people value because of why you do it, or they get value from their connection with you because of who you are as a person. Example, if I add you as a friend and you're not a real estate agent, and let's just say you're locally here in LA and you own a home and you're thinking of selling sometime soon, and let's say that you don't have any particular real estate agent that you're like in love with, and I add you one day as a friend on Facebook, and the next day all you see is me posting business. The next day, the next day I say, hey everybody, I got another one under contract, and then the next day I say, hey, come to my open house again, and then the next day you're just like, that's all you see is me talking business and spamming.
Mm-hmm.
But if I add you as a friend, and the next morning I posted a picture of my dog doing something funny and made you laugh your butt off for a half hour, and then the next day I said something about my mom beating cancer, and you come in and leave a comment and say, Tony, I lost my mom, please read this link. You'll actually get a lot of benefit from it, and you might be able to help your mom. I would tell her to read this book also. And then the next day I make you laugh again. And then the next day you say something and I like it. And then the next day I ask a question and you help me find out a good place to go get tires. And then the next day I made you laugh again. And then finally we've been friends for a month and I say something about I just showed. And you're like, oh, he's a real estate agent. That doesn't matter. It's how you and I are starting to connect and become bonded. And now all of a sudden, 2 months later, you need to sell your house or you want to talk to a real estate agent. I guarantee you I'm the first person on your mind to call and ask a question to.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the formula? Because I said, add people every day and give them value. Well, what's the formula of the value? Heartfelt is number one. Touch people's hearts and you will get more positive outcome than any other type of post.
And you'll enjoy your job a lot more.
Well, yeah, but heartfelt.
Right. I'm with you. Yeah. I don't want you to lose your track. Yeah.
Heartfelt is anything that touches someone's hearts. Now, the next category that has a lot of engagement that'll give positive outcome is humor. The third category that you should be posting is your life. Just enjoying life, meaning it shows you traveling. It shows you with your kids playing catch. It shows you having Thanksgiving dinner with your family. The third category is just enjoying life.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth category that'll get you positive engagement is asking a question, asking people for help. Does anybody know where I could find a good dentist? Right? And everybody's just trying to help you. Then the fifth category that people want to see is you taught people something, but in a very quick way, meaning I call it clever, educational. So example, I go on Facebook, I say Cedars-Sinai Hospital to expand emergency room to a level 1 trauma center for $300 million. Everybody who saw it in their newsfeed were able to read it in less than 15 seconds. They learned something they didn't know, or maybe some people are commenting, oh, I heard that, and they went on with their day. Market's up 5% from this time last year. They read it. It was easy. They went on with their day. They felt like they learned something.
Mm-hmm.
What we're not talking about is today when I picked up the newspaper, it said that Cedars-Sinai was going to be expanding their emergency room to a level 1 trauma center for $300 million. For those that don't know what a level 1 trauma center is, it's the biggest ER there can be. It takes the gunshots, the missing limbs, the stab wounds, the helicopter flying.
Right.
And then the article went on to say it was going to cost $300 million. And I couldn't help but ask myself, well, who's paying for that? Are we paying for that? Or is the hospital paying for that? Because if I, as a taxpayer in the city of Los Angeles, have to pay for another thing, I swear to God, everything and you're like, why am I still reading this?
Right. And you don't like the person who wrote it very much anymore.
So what we're talking about is remember what people want to see, and human beings want to see heartfelt inspiration, motivation, humor, enjoying life, and also want to learn. And if you show that online, it's incredible what comes out of it. And it's incredible the relationships that you'll build, and people will feel connected with you, even if they actually never shake your hand. There are guaranteed 1,500 people on my Facebook friend page I still have never met who have been my friends for 5 years, who consistently refer me business or people on a team of mine, even though we've never actually met still.
Because they know you. It's a way of knowing somebody. They know what you're about. And they know you're a good twin, which is even better.
Exactly.
I mean, it might be, never mind. I was going to get really smart, but I won't. But it's true.
Yeah.
It's great. But I love, you give a great speech about that. It's really funny. And I love that. And I think that you've got the business page. No, go ahead.
Let you do why you do it. Show why you even wake up every morning. And I guarantee you, as long as your numbers are increasing, see, that's why I can't stress that enough. It's not going to work if you're showing them value and you're being heartfelt and funny to the same 600 people who are your friend on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we have an interview. A lot of agents do that. No, go ahead. I missed what you said.
I was just going to say, those 600 people, they'll refer you business. They love you to death. But what if you went out and got another 600 people and then another 600 people? So you have to do both things. Or you can't be adding people every day and be up 1,200 new friends on Facebook, but not be giving them value. So you have to do both. And the rule of thumb for your audience, it has to grow in size by 25 people a day.
Oh, really?
So
okay. 25
and
people a day.
That's across all platforms, which means as long as I can go to bed every night knowing that my overall audience grew in size by 25. Example, I added 10 new friends on Facebook, 10 new connections on LinkedIn. I added 5 people from my open house on Saturday into my contact management system, meaning my overall audience that I can talk to now anytime I want grew in size by 25 people.
Yeah.
And I guarantee, and then I give those people value, done.
So I have a question for you. So, so obviously the social media, I mean, that's really, you shifted my whole business. I have so much focus on that. Because I never could figure out the CRM thing. I've just created my own. I'm using Google Docs. But what do you? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and you've got to maintain it, but that's where I can't find, I've created my own in a spreadsheet on Google Docs. But do you have a CRM that you like? Or that you recommend?
I use Happy Grasshopper.
Wait, say that again. You were breaking.
That's what it's actually called, Happy Grasshopper.
Happy Grasshopper. I think I've heard of it. Yeah, Happy Grasshopper. Yeah. Now, why do you like that one?
They are the only contact management system where they write fully custom content to each individual agent. It's not templates. Example, if you and I both have somebody in top producer, Jerry, and they're a local person in Atlanta, and you send them a template or a just sold or something out of top producer, and then I send them the same thing, they got the same thing from 2 different agents that they accidentally gave their emails to, and we're both spamming them. Happy Grasshopper has a in-depth needs analysis and consultation with you as an agent. They learn how you talk, how you speak, character words you use, and then they actually write custom content to your sphere and database that's just to you and your personality.
Wow.
And the thing is, even better than that, is they do have template stuff that goes out as well, like just touches, but they're the only contact management system where if you send somebody something and I have that same person in my Happy Grasshopper and I try to send it to them, Happy Grasshopper actually kicks it out and says this person already got something similar from another agent, so they rewrite it so it doesn't look the same.
Oh, that's great.
And they're like $100 a month or something like that. Like they're not even close to the price of like a top producer system or something like that. And I just love their.
I'm gonna check them out. Yeah, Happy Grasshopper. Is it Happy Grasshopper? I'm sure you just Google it and find it. But
I actually have, just so you know, I have 2 different databases with them. I have my luxury real estate database, and my lower end real estate database, so that my luxury one, it's only content going out to my database that own high-end homes or have sold high-end homes.
Smart.
It's only luxury content.
Right.
And then the other content is just typical real estate content.
That's a great idea.
So Happy Grasshopper, I do know that if you say, if you call Happy Grasshopper, well, there's promo codes. Like if people say that they heard me speak, I know they get a discount. I think it's about 20% off.
Okay.
If you say something like, I heard Tony Giordano speak about Happy Grasshopper.
Tony Giordano and Happy Grasshopper. Awesome.
Yeah, they give a discount to people who have heard me speak.
All right, everybody, call Happy Grasshopper and talk about Tony, and you'll get a Tony Giordano will get a 20% discount probably, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Something like that.
Okay, or a discount. Great. All right, so I want to know this book. So we had The Social Agent, and that was more about why and getting comfortable with the idea of the social agent. And it's actually it's not just technology and wrapping our heads around that, which we talked a lot about. And then Social Agent Edition 2, I think that's more on what to do, which we talked a lot about that today. But elaborate for us a little bit on that. Anything else we might want to know about that and your book, The Death of the Cold Call. Love that name, by the way.
Okay, yeah. So The Social Agent, and then if you want, at the end of the thing, if you want me to give like 5 or 6 of the systems I use.
Yes, please.
Because what I can do is, I know that these companies have promo codes. I don't know what it is for Happy Grasshopper, so just show my name. But I do know these companies offer codes, and for those that are listening, you might want to call them because they're amazing companies that I use personally, and the best used. Some of the biggest agents in the world use the same companies that I do as well. So, so The Social Agent is the why. That book has not changed. And the reason that book, it's been out for 5 years. It just became an international bestseller 5 years later. Now it's been a bestseller in Canada.
Wow. Okay.
And the reason for it is the book might have a couple things in it that were more popular 5 years ago, but that's not what the book is about. The book is the why. Why should I be doing this, Tony? Change my mindset. You have to know the why before you can learn what and how to do it. And so that's why that book is still great today. That's The Social Agent, The Why, Edition 1. Read it. It takes 90 seconds. It's on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, everything. The Social Agent Edition 2 is the evolution now of, okay, I know I need to do it. I know why I need to do it. I read the first one. Now tell me what and how to do it. And it's just way more in depth, and it goes into the strategies and techniques. But those strategies and techniques will never work if somebody doesn't know why they're doing it. And that's why it's kind of a part 2. And the book will go into the social approach, the business approach. It goes into the mobile approach. It goes into the visual approach.
Oh, love it. That's awesome. Yeah.
It goes into everything that we we have to do as agents and people in general, salespeople in general. And so the book is a critical thing in our business. Sorry,
awesome.
I was just
that's great. So now, because we're getting close to the end of this, we need to start wrapping up. So I want to give us a quick synopsis of the cold call, how we find those books, and then before we end everything, the one thing I want to get out of you is the one message you want everybody to get out of this. So give us the cold call, and then I want to ask you that.
So chapter 13 of edition 2 is the death of the cold call. That's actually chapter 13 of the second edition of the Social Agent.
Okay.
But everybody loved that chapter so much that I decided to write a book called The Death of the Cold Call, which will come out a month after edition
Okay.
Two, the cold call is very similar. It's going to be very similar content, but I'm taking everything out of it that's related to real estate, like the social agent 2, and I'm making it all industries, meaning insurance agents, somebody who owns a private practice, dentistry, somebody who owns a dry cleaner, somebody who's just selling cars. It's going to be all people who are in sales, making them realize, why on earth would you ever cold call ever again? And when I say cold call,
right?
Why are you choosing to door knock and talk to a complete stranger who you're going to have to somehow benefit or build a relationship with in a very quick period of time, when I could door click them, meaning modern day door knock, door click them online and have all of their information and feel like we're connected within just a few days? Why are we choosing to cold call anything anymore when the internet and social media make everything warm? And that's why I say, imagine if you could go door knocking, and when you walked up to the door, the front door of the house before you knocked on it said 13 mutual friends, 7 similar interests. Both of you have a dog named Roxy. You both graduated and her best friend is your mutual friend.
Exactly.
And then you knock on the door. Well, anybody with their right mind would use the information on the front door in their delivery. But that doesn't exist in lead generation. But it does exist in lead generation online, and nobody's taking advantage of it. And that's why I feel like we need to make people realize the death of the cold call.
I can't believe the cold calls I get every day. It blows my mind. So what is the one thing you want everybody to get out of our interview that's listening? If there was one, there's going to be lots, of course.
You know, I would say that the one thing is definitely those minimum 2 steps. I give people 98 things to do, and the other things that I coach and mentor agents on is how to raise the ROI. To me, that takes skill enhancement. But if you're not doing those 2 minimum things every day, you'll never see the value. And I guarantee.
Wait, to give us the 2 minimum things.
I guarantee you, if you do these 2 things in less than 30 days every day, then in less than a month, I guarantee you will call me or email me and say, I just got a deal, 3, 4, 5, 7 deals, doing what you said every day for 30 days. And I don't ever want you to stop. And that is, your audience grows in size by 25 people a day. And you give those 25 people value consistently every day, every week. They're getting consistent value from you. Now, that's the lowest level. So the other things that I coach agents on, and I coach agents from rookie all the way to the biggest agents in the world, and they all benefit from doing this. And that's where I give you the other 100 things to raise the ROI and get even more out of it with marketing and boosting and demographic targeting and geofencing and all the other things that come and play a part. But you have to do those 2 things. So that's my biggest thing I usually tell people, is at least do that so you see how quickly it can change your business.
Incredible. Tony, thank you. That wraps us up. Unless there's anything you want to add, give us your website and how the best way to reach you.
I promised everybody those systems.
The 5 platforms. Yes. What are they? Yes.
I'll just share a few.
Okay.
People always want to know who built my website. And that's because the websites are built in a way that there's no other websites like them. They're not built off of WordPress. They're not built off of HTML. They're built off of code, like a social network is built. And that company is called MoPro.
Okay.
M as in Mary, O, P as in Peter, R-O. MoPro.com. And their websites are absolutely breathtaking, gorgeous websites. And if you give them this promo code, they build and launch the website for nothing. No cost at all.
Oh, wow.
And you just pay for their hosting. And the promo code is Mega Agent 17.
Okay.
You don't have to know how to spell it. You could even call the company and put Mega Agent 17, or when you're online signing up, you just put Mega Agent 17. And not only will they build and launch it for you for nothing, but their hosting, instead of $299 a month, is only $149 a month for life. if you give them that promo code. And
Wow.
the second platform is I use a company called Offers without the E, OFFRS.com, Offers without the E.com. This is a predictive analytic company that help us figure out who we should lead gen in a territory that their devices in their house have been clicking on things related to selling their home soon.
God, that's scary.
And
Yeah.
I know it's scary. And like I always tell people on stage, look, is it scary to me? Sure. Am I going to take full advantage of it to get listings until it's no longer allowed? Yes.
Exactly.
So their promo code is Agent007. And that promo code, I've heard, gets a territory like 30% off, which is significant. Another system is, I would say, City Blast.
Okay.
City Blast posts filler content on our Facebook business page, and it's great filler content, meaning in addition to the content we're talking about with our real estate listings and our market, they're also posting great content on our behalf, and it looks like we're posting it. And they're normally $100 a month, but cityblast.com, if you tell them Agent Blast is the promo code, Agent Blast, then cityblast.com will give you 20% off. And then I would say two more. Go to a company called Rally App. Rally App.
Okay.
RALLYAPP. Rallyapp.com. And if you call them and give them Agent Rally.
Now, what do they do?
They create, I'll let them explain it, but they create raving fans and frenzies when you're marketing on your business page. And in addition to that very powerful thing for $99 a month and create these like frenzies, which people love, is they also, anybody who engages your post, they actually get the permissions for you from Facebook to get all their information. And they take, like, let's say you had 100 likes on your listing, they get Facebook to give all the information on those people, and they put all those people in your database inside Rally app, phone number, email, everything, so that you don't have to go to each person's Facebook profile who's engaging your post and try to save it yourself.
Wow.
And it's phenomenal.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I know companies who do this for Coca-Cola and Apple, that Coca-Cola pays $500,000 a month for that. But finally, we have something for small business, and it's not just real estate agents. That's called Rally app that does very similar to that. And then last but not least, if you are a luxury agent, I am shocked at how many people do not know this about this company. But it's the only time I ever do print advertising. Now, we all know who DuPont Registry is. DuPont Registry is the #1 luxury real estate magazine in the world in 200 countries. Most people know that they can advertise with this company for $2,000 a month or $1,000 a month or $500 a month. You can run an ad. And that's important, especially in luxury real estate. However, I asked the company how no one knew about these packages they have, and they just said it's hard to get it out there. They have packages, no joke, where if you get for like a few $100s a month, they will give you a spot to advertise in the actual magazine, like 2 every 6 months. However, these packages, I'll just give you one. I think it's their gold package or their silver package. For $4.99 a month, all of my listings get to be on DuPontRegistry.com, which is huge. I also get DuPont Registry to their 6 million followers online will post on their social networks my listing as well. Not even kind of done yet. Anybody who's on their exotic cars website, which is their #1 website, the exotic cars that they sell, anybody who like clicks on certain high-end cars, meaning somebody in Russia clicks on a 1996 Aston Martin, when the next page opens up, my listing is an advertisement.
Wow.
Just a super wealthy person who just happens to be looking at Aston Martins or Ferraris, or locally in my area in LA. And if that's not enough, they actually help agents co-market. And let's just say, Jere, you got a new listing, and it was a high-end listing in Suwannee or
let's stick to Buckhead or Brookhaven, right?
Okay, but let's just say it was a beautiful.
I'm impressed you know Suwannee, but yeah.
Well, I have clients that live there.
That's right.
Or did the Boston Red Sox, Jason Varitek.
Yes.
So let's say you took a new listing in Buckhead and you were part of their group, for like their Silver Elite. You could call DuPont and say, hey, we're shooting a lifestyle video of my new listing in Buckhead. Who is trying to sell a high-end car through DuPont here in Buckhead? They'll pull up the list. They'll help you reach out to that person and say, hey, would you like your 1996 Ferrari in our lifestyle video? And they'll help you co-market so that now when you're watching the video and you needed an exotic car to create the lifestyle video and none of your friends had one that you could use, they're going to help you find somebody locally who's trying to sell their car, and then they're going to post that video on the DuPont website. I mean, it's just
that's brilliant.
Incredible. And a lot of people are like, why are you giving your competitors this information?
Right.
I'm very passionate about, there's plenty of business to go around, and people need to know about these things. And these companies, unfortunately, do a horrible job getting it out there. And
that's huge. Yeah.
Huge. So here's the code you need. So they don't offer this on their websites or anything. You just have to know the people inside DuPont. And I came across it on accident, actually. If you text to this number, so you need to text the word X Club. X is in X-ray. CLUB. X Club. You text that to 797979. So 379. So text the word X Club to 797979. DuPont Registry will send you a text asking for your email, and they will email you the packages. You're not signing up for anything. You're not paying money or anything like that yet. You're just having them send you the exclusive package breakdown of what they offer.
That's great. Wow.
And then last but not least, yes, I'm a coach. Yes, I mentor. And people seem to appreciate what they get out of my coaching, because it's not coaching. It's not accountability coaching. It's not how many calls did you make or old forms of gen. My coaching is called RISE. And RISE, RISE stands for Relevant Innovative Skill Enhancement. And it just takes people to a whole nother level of modern day language of sales, scripts, things that will set you aside from your competition, and major, major skill enhancement that will explode you online as well with your online influence. And I'm super excited about RISE, because it used to just be called Tony Giordano, and RISE just came out. So that's
awesome. Wow. Well, I had you back. It's amazing. Like, we had one great interview, it was more than 6 months ago, and just completely new, awesome, innovative, inspiring information. So thank you, Tony. It's awesome to have you back.
Thank you very much.